Welcome back to the Sidebar, the best podcast around. It's great to have you back.
Max, welcome.
Um, we were actually recording a day later than what we were hoping to, and for some reason it feels like we're like 4 weeks behind.
Yeah, literally, I feel
Really, really
out of
strange.
place.
Yeah, it's like out of
Shouldn't be
sync or
here on a
something.
Saturday.
No, no, but here we are, and wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Facts. Very true.
Um, so yeah, if you're new to the podcast, please like and follow us. On all the socials and Spotify, and please share us on.
Yeah.
And if you're not a new listener, you'll know how this madhouse runs, and that is with starting with sidebar of the week.
Sidebar of the week. Sidebar of the week.
Just fixing my shoe. Um, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first, or do we want to ask
You
a
can
third
start us
person to go
off.
first? No, me. Okay.
You can start us off, mate.
Yeah, so my sidebar of the week is probably the reason why well, in fact, not probably, it is absolutely the reason why we're recording a day late is we actually had a night off from the kids.
Uh,
It was great.
Blasphemy.
So we went to an event together last night, and
Um, for everyone listening, not me and Tricks. We're not like a
no,
couple.
no, no. Although you should have
Tricks
came
and his
along, it
wife.
would have been
I think I'd
jokes.
have lowered the tone a little.
That would have been jokes. No, so it was an event that we were invited along to. It was like a how would you describe it? It was like a folk singer sort of and I'm not really into that type of music, but
Mm,
mate, see when I tell you she was amazing, she was so
yeah,
good.
love that.
Her voice was incredible, and
There's nothing like live music anyway. Like live
yeah,
music just hits different.
and it was a real like intimate setting as well. So basically, the people that invited us along, it was hosted in their friend's house near them,
Mm.
and the house they live in, they've basically turned into a form of income.
Yeah, okay.
So basically, it's this real modern style house. It's not like a mansion. It's a big house, but like it's not like a mansion or anything. But basically, what they've done, so there's a hospital. Well, there's more than one hospital in Belfast, but one of the hospitals in Belfast is Belfast City. Um, and the person that designed that building for the city hospital lived in this house.
Ah, okay. Okay.
So there's actually a rumor which is really interesting. So it's well known that the city hospital was meant to have its own helipad on the top,
Right.
but they could never make it because two of the supporting beams were just missing.
Okay, so they're in this guy's house.
The theory is that this fella used them beams to build this house.
Okay. Fair.
Anyway, so it has a bit of history, and basically what these people have done. So the fella that lives in it now, he's an artist,
Right.
um, and what him and his wife and his family do is the whole downstairs they would rent out.
Okay.
It's
So like
called the
Airbnb.
Yeah, it's called the La Roche House. You can look it
Okay.
up.
Yeah, yeah, I will.
But they basically rent it out to like art exhibitions or
Okay.
small intimate concerts, or like just different sort of stuff like that. And
Sick.
apparently, it's been the set for some like TV shows, like like the set of like a living room or whatever.
Yeah, 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 that's it.
But he's wrote his own books and all. But anyway, it was a really lovely wee
Bloody
house,
hell.
and he's turned the upstairs of it into like two flats, right?
No way.
So whenever there's an event on downstairs, him and his family have somewhere to literally go live.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it was pretty cool. But it was really lovely night. They had like as soon as you walked in, you were offered like red wine or white wine or mocktails, and
Sick.
the mocktails were made by the woman that lives in the house, and they were made from her magnolia tree out the front.
That's mad,
Made them
man.
herself. But see, when I tell you, mate, that like the people that were there were just so many, not classes above me, but like they just like proper eccentric.
Yeah,
you know,
influential people.
just eccentric people, and very artsy kind of people.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I
Yeah,
was
like
like,
Lawrence O'Laren Bowens or whatever you call him,
it was
whatever his name
like
is.
I was chatting to Lauren when we got back, and I was like, it was like going to Vincent van Gogh's house for an event. Like you were just like, I just don't belong here. Like I don't. Um, but people were lovely.
I wonder where oh, I can't even say it, don't worry. Oh, don't worry, it's wasted. I was gonna say eared about that, but it doesn't make sense.
um, really lovely people, and it was a really lovely night. Actually, we really enjoyed the music. The girl that was doing the music, she was because it was quite intimate. Like she was singing to us, and then like sort of cracking jokes and all, and then in the interval, she was like sort of with her family and things, and we were all sort of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
chatting.
That's sweet.
Um,
What was the girl that was singing part of the people that owned the house's family?
no, 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 no. She basically just bumped. She met them somewhere, and they were basically like.
Okay.
So she would do like gigs in like maybe bars and things. She's on Spotify.
Yeah,
But she basically and they were like, listen, if you want to host like a wee bit of a gig, sort of sell tickets, we rent out our. And she was like, yeah, brilliant, and it was packed like,
that's
but
class.
really good fun, really
Yeah, I love that.
nice night out, you know.
That's nice, mate. I can imagine that was nice, having some time away.
Yeah, without the kids, I love them and
Mm.
all, but like it's just
Missed out on the
nice.
best podcast in the world, but
We're here now, aren't we? We're here now, and
yeah,
I had a story to
better
bring to
late
it.
than never, I guess.
It's
I just
just
had a standard Friday night in with the kids because me and my missus have never had a night away from them
well,
ever
that's I think
in
it's
5 years.
yeah. I know, I know.
That's fine. I'm glad you
Did I
had a
tell
great
you we're
night
going
out
on
with
holiday
your
without the
eccentric.
kids?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. You might have mentioned it one or two
yeah.
times. I'll tell you, but we're going away with the kids.
Well, anyway, how was your week?
It was all right. It wasn't the best, but it was all right. It's a bit upsy downsy.
Hmm.
Slipped a disc in my back again, so I'm currently
Right.
sat like I'm having a poo. But yeah, I'm just not comfortable. Like I'm sat here, just not comfortable. It's hurting. Can't lie. So I've been pretty much horizontal for the week,
Mm.
which has been pretty stinky. But
Is that medically confirmed as a slip disc, or are you
it's been a slip disc before, yeah. And I know the
um
pain in it. You can feel like you can feel it pulling
yeah, so
and where it is.
I have a herniated disc in my back.
Mm.
So it's just a slip disc and a herniated disc are just things that just they don't go away, but mine will often catch my sciatic nerve.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is
exactly what
yeah.
mine is.
It's not nice.
It's not nice because my body has a natural reaction to force all of its weight onto one side of my body so it's
Hmm.
comfortable. So I'm like, I walk around the house like this, like a zombie from Shaun of the Dead, mate.
Oh man. That was
So,
one more
yeah,
time,
it's
do it
been
one more time.
okay, just for you.
Yeah, that's good. Yep. Yep. And ladies and gentlemen, this is
The
Jans.
perfect representation of a slip disc in your back, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, it's been a pretty horror week, to be honest. Not been great. Had
Yeah.
some family stuff to deal with, which weren't great. But yeah, it's just been one of them weeks, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, you get them, don't you?
Anything else happening in your week? That's to note.
Nothing to note at the moment.
Fair. And the moment, you still got tomorrow, I suppose.
It could all fall apart at
We'll
any
let you
moment.
know in due course.
Um, Anything else to add before we move on to news story?
Nah, I think we can run with the news story.
No. Okay, well, I'll kick us off with this one as well. So, my news story of the week is a pretty exciting announcement. I know last week we sort of teased the idea of, sometime in the future a website would be dropping.
Yeah.
Uh, what then happened directly after that announcement was another Zoom call between
Mm.
us and a website was born.
Well, you say that, you put in a lot of the groundwork, didn't you? You put in you like a couple of days groundwork And then we got on a call one night and found ourselves still talking at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Just being
Our
like, get this
website
done,
was
get it done,
born.
get it done.
Yeah. I was like, Trix, I gotta go sleep, mate. I gotta go sleep. And he was like, just this last little bit.
Can I just say as well? Actually, it was so funny. There's a fly in my face. Um, really funny as well because the whole way through the Zoom call, I had it set up so that like it was like me in the corner, and then the background of my Zoom was
Yeah.
my
Screw.
laptop page, so it was a screen,
Mm.
so you could see what I was doing. But that's all I could see. I couldn't see you. And the moment at about 3:10, whenever I stopped sharing the screen, and it just came up your face, all I could see was from here up. It was just your forehead. You'd slumped so
I was
far
hiding
down to
my
the
face.
sofa.
Genuinely. I was literally in sleeping position. I was like in a fetal position,
It was
just
one of the
ready to go,
funniest
man.
things. Um,
But yeah,
yeah,
we now
so
have a website, which is amazing.
yeah, it's really exciting. So website is launched. So on that website you can expect to find uh our latest episode videos, um,
Yep.
a few previous episode videos as well for people to indulge in.
Yep.
You'll also find links to all of our socials so that we don't have to sit here and go, "Well, you can find us on TikTok, you can find us in it."
Yeah.
Literally just go to the website. All right? Just go to the
That's
website.
it. Which you will find linked in
Yes,
like the
we
YouTube videos. I don't know. Can you link it in the Spotify?
who knows?
Okay.
Just
Well,
gotta
if you
try.
can't, it will be on the YouTube when it gets released anyway.
We
So
will link it on the videos and we will also put it onto socials.
yeah.
And yeah, so you'll find links to all of our socials on that page, really easy, clickable links. And you'll also find a couple of blog posts that
Yeah.
we were doing at the early hours of the morning, about things that we think are important for people to talk about or just to read. And there's also a section in it for like a forum.
Yeah.
So basically, what we wanted from this website was to have somewhere on it where people could connect
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
or just talk. It could be
And it's just
about,
open to anything. Yeah.
yeah, it could be about like previous episodes. It could be about things that are going on in your week. It could be people, like, I'd love people to go on and be like, here's my sidebar of the week, sort of thing, do you know?
Yeah, 100%. Or
Um,
like just be like, oh, I'm having a shit day. This is why. Anyone else relate? And we can
mhm,
be like, yeah. Or
yeah.
nah, you weirdo.
So please play nice, be positive, and let's make
Yeah,
it a
100%.
let's make it a
It,
safe, positive space. But
it
we
is a
just want,
breeding ground for positivity. Any negativity will be removed.
yes, there is options to remove and block, so we will use them if needs be. But I believe that our community will be encouraging and positive, so that's what we're going to do going forward. But yeah, listen, go check out the website, and if there's anything on the website you think we could be adding in or doing different, please let us know because we are just winging this entire thing.
You know.
So yeah, that's my news story of the week. Over to you.
Well, my news story of the week comes from you. So, as you may see, last week we got cups or mugs, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, that's the ones. Yeah, this week, knock, 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 open the door, receive a package. I haven't ordered anything. See Jamzeezy written on it. I was like, fan mail from one of our many devoted fans? Mental. Where, how did they find out where I live? Open package. Bosh, ladies and gentlemen. This man here, sat across from me, has designed t-shirts and got them sent out. Now, I would stand up and show you the back because
Give
it
us a
has our
spin.
logo on it.
Give us a spin.
You got no chance.
You can. Come on.
If I move, I will sound like the mole man from The Simpsons.
Go, go. Give us a spin. Let us see the back. That's just his back while he's turning. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. So there you can see in some sort of shape.
Mate, honestly, I'm in so much fucking pain. And you're getting me to perform magic tricks.
Yes, so now we have t-shirts, we have mugs, we have a website, we are paving the path to success.
Yeah, and at some point, I would love to make like a little merch range.
Mm.
Would love it so like anyone listening could get themselves a sidebar mug
This is it.
or
Sidebar mug,
t-shirt.
sideboard t-shirt. I
Amazing.
also have a t-shirt. Mine's is slightly different. So on the back, mine's is the logo with sort of like a flower wreath around it.
Yeah. Yours is
But yeah,
really nice.
but
Mine's
yeah,
more edgy graffiti. I don't even know what you saw when I went down, to be
yeah. It
honest.
was kind of yeah. It was hard to see. It was hard to watch. I'll say that.
Cut all. Get rid of it.
Um, no, yeah. So we're really enjoying the process of just pretend. Fake it till
Yeah.
you make it. That's what people say.
We are literally, like when you was a kid and you'd play like dress up, we
Hmm.
are dressing up as two podcasters right now and we're
Yeah,
loving it.
yeah.
We are
It's great
loving it. We're
fun.
making it up, mate, and it's so much fun.
Yeah. So let's just crack a lacking on, shall we?
Crack a lack.
So when we were sort of discussing what we were going to talk about this week, you had thought of the idea of talking about.
I wanted to talk about like murder mysteries
Mhm,
and with your past in criminology and psychology,
mhm,
I also wanted to talk about like serial killers and stuff like that
mhm.
because that's right up your street, isn't it?
Yeah. So I done a degree in criminology and criminal justice. So
Mm.
part of that was around, different types of homicides, killings, and yeah, like serial killers, psychopathy, stuff like that.
Yeah, and
So,
I just also wanted to hear like like the big ones like Madeline McCann and stuff like that. I want to
mhm,
hear your opinion on it. Like, where do you
okay,
sit on it and stuff like that? So I
mhm,
would like us to get into that
good. Well,
right
before we just get
now.
stuck into it, I'm just going to give a quick housekeeping. In
Go.
no way, shape, or form are we condoning any of the things that we talk about in
No.
this episode. We are sharing them purely on interest and intrigue.
Yeah.
Neither of us are professionals, so please do not hold us to the same account that you would hold the Federal Bureau of Investigations. And yeah,
Yeah,
just
and
take it for what
also
it is.
anything we say isn't fact,
No,
is alleged. So don't sue us.
all that to say, let's have fun. Okay,
And
so where would you like to start in this conversation? Because I've studied a lot of this stuff, it's hard for me to pick a starting point. I'll just end up in the middle of something.
yeah, that's fine. But the first person or first instance I have written down is
Mhm.
Jack the Ripper. Start at the beginning.
Start with him. The Whitechapel
I
murders.
I take you back to a misty, misty, cold night. I have to read my notes. In 1888, which were Victorian times, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Poo being thrown out windows, rats running the streets, ladies walking the streets at night, unaware that in the shadows lurked Jack the Ripper.
Okay, so Jack the Ripper. What
Yes.
sort of information or insight do you have into
So obviously no
this
one knows who it
very
was in it.
famous case? What?
Like no one knows who it was in it.
No,
They
there's
never got
there's
caught.
oh, there's several theories, but no, it was
Yeah, I've heard
never
several
proven.
theories, which I'd like to delve into as well,
Hmm.
like theories on Jack the Ripper, who it was.
Yeah.
But I know that he murdered at least five women,
Hmm.
mainly prostitutes. It was the
Yes.
first ever, like, big media sensation
Hmm.
of its time.
Hmm.
And I have the main suspects being a doctor,
Hmm.
a butcher, or someone from the royal family.
There was also, as far as I remember, again, we can fact check this, but I'm pretty sure So basically, they assumed that the killer would have been from like a. Some of the assumptions were from like a high position, so a
Is it because
barrister,
of
a legal
the,
barrister.
yeah, isn't it because of the weapons that he used as well?
Yes, but yes.
Or
So
am I really getting confused, yeah? Because I have a vision in my head, yeah, but it might just be The Simpsons taking over the vision in my head.
so it was pretty brutal. So Jack the Ripper basically he was branded the disorganized killer or
Mm,
disorganized serial killer or something. That's what they referred to him as in the end because when he when he struck, it was like late at night and it was like
yeah,
random women, basically
yeah, yeah,
opportunistic, and he killed them, but he butchered them,
yeah,
and it, the butchering was aimed at we'll say reproductive
yeah,
areas
yeah,
to keep it
yeah. Semi
for
PG of it.
watershed, yeah. So yeah, it's a really, really fascinating case. We learned a
It
lot about
really is, isn't
this
it?
in uni.
Mm,
Um, I have a really fun fact about Jack the Ripper.
go for it.
So he never branded himself Jack the Ripper.
Yeah,
So it was a journalist
okay, yeah, yeah.
from a newspaper. Do you know this?
Maybe because I've watched Whitechapel, but not like,
So essentially what was happening was these murders were happening and it was like big news, selling
yeah.
loads of newspapers. Newspapers were flying out. And obviously sales of newspapers, money's coming in. But then it kind of got a bit cold and not much was happening. The police weren't
Mm,
making any leads, weren't making any headway. And it all started to die down a bit. And a journalist for, was it The Star or something? It's some sort of newspaper like that, had essentially forged a note
yeah, okay, I
to
know. Didn't know this.
the newspaper.
Okay,
And it's basically a note that says like you'll never catch me, blah blah blah, all this nonsense.
okay, yeah,
And
yeah.
it was signed Jack the Ripper.
That's so smart.
So, it wasn't though, because what happened then was then obviously they were like, We've been the first to get isn't it? It's Jack the Ripper. It's Jack the Ripper.
Mm,
That's what it." But as you can imagine, an egocentric psychopath would not take well to someone else taking credit for.
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So he went and butchered someone beyond recognition. Like, I
Mm,
mean, they couldn't identify the person
that's mad.
for a long time. It had to be through, I don't know what it was through that it identified them, but
Be teeth.
that was pure out of anger.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So
but
do you
yeah,
like have any theories on it?
um, theories as to who it was, no,
Yeah,
I don't really. I think there's several lines of theory that I think work.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So obviously, targeting women who were prostitutes. Also, can I just say, because this really annoys me about this case, people say he targets prostitutes, he targets prostitutes. The thing is that some of the girls who would be branded prostitutes, right,
Mm,
weren't necessarily that way to begin with. So one of them was married to like a wealthy sort of man.
yeah,
He left her, and back then women had no source of income.
yeah, yeah,
So
obviously, yeah.
what happened was, did he leave her or did he die? I think he left her, but anyway, she then literally had no money to pay for her house. She had to move to like a really rundown part of town, and she had no way of making money.
Mm,
And back then, that was the only alternative for women,
yeah, fair.
was to go into
Yeah.
like a women's hostel, and then the only way they can make money was to do that. So, but you can grasped from that that obviously he had some sort of issue with women. I would
Yeah.
say mummy issues,
Okay.
and or particular hatred towards people who were in that profession of prostitution. So
Yeah.
the some of the theories are that it could have been someone who was quite high class
Hmm.
who would have traveled to the low class side of town to, you know, to commit the acts,
Yeah.
which I think is plausible.
Yeah, I've heard
Um,
another theory, yeah. I noticed you said he.
mhm.
I've heard a she theory.
Okay.
So, like, my missus even believes it. It mainly comes from her, to be fair, but she said that she thinks it's a woman whose husband slept with prostitutes, and then that's where the hatred for that kind of woman came from. And then
Yeah.
the mutilation of the organs came from,
Yeah.
which kind of makes sense, but I don't know.
It can do. I, I would say that I personally don't think that that's the case.
Mm,
One, because statistically, women, it's, you're talking 90% in the 90s, high 90s, of killings or men.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the all behavioral analysis sort of background would very clearly paints a picture of your class A psychopath who has issues with. So here's what I think, without trying to guess who it is or what their profession was.
Obviously, you can't because we didn't know
When
from back then.
he was younger, I am assuming that his mother, for whatever reason, had to go into prostitution
Yep.
and would have had men to the house quite a lot, which
Okay.
the men could well have abused him
Okay.
when he was younger, and that he has then attributed to anger towards women who are in
Yeah,
prostitution.
that working, yeah, background. Okay, that does make sense to be fair. But it's just a wild, excuse the pun, a stab in the dark, isn't it? Because no one knows.
That's what makes it such a fascinating case,
Yeah.
because nobody can actually pinpoint. And there's all these theories about, there's this barrister, there's a barber, there's an
Mm,
American, uh, like expat or
yeah.
something is one of them as well.
And do you know what is mad? There's still people trying to prove who it was to this very day,
Yeah,
and no one's got there.
he was the first famous serial killer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
It
Facts.
um it was the first one to hit the media the way it did.
Yeah.
Interestingly, there's three types of killing, three types of
Okay.
homicides. Um, so you have obviously what we've been talking about. You have serial killing. So you have serial
Hmm.
killers. You have mass killing, mass murders, and you have spree.
Okay, so let me guess,
Hmm.
because obviously you will know the actual definitions. So I want to say serial killing, yeah, is like I want to say that it's like it follows a pattern.
Hmm.
Serial killing.
Hmm.
Mass is just loads of people in one place or at one time.
Hmm.
And then what was the last one you said?
Spree.
But then that's someone that just randomly does loads of people is in as much time as they can before they get caught.
Do you know what? Well done. You've got core facts of each of them.
Yeah, I've
Um,
got layman's terms and I've put it into.
but no, I mean that's really good. So
Thanks.
you're right. Serial killers follow a pattern, so they have an MO, a modus
Yeah,
operandi. They also have like a specific target. So you tend to find that serial killers, may target someone who is below 6 foot, blonde hair,
yeah, yeah,
that type of thing,
yeah. They have a type,
or in an
if you want to say it in a
age
weird way.
range or something like
Yeah.
that. Key as well. There has to be three or more
Okay.
for it to classify as it.
Okay.
And generally, the one of the biggest differences is that serial killers there is a cooling off period, right?
Yeah.
And this is key
Okay.
because that cooling off period is essentially them just going back to normal life as if
Yeah.
nothing's happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
you could have a time between events of a couple of months,
Hmm.
you know, where that person just goes back to their everyday life as if nothing's happened.
That's terrifying.
You it could be I say months, it could be weeks, months, years.
Years. Yeah.
Do you know there's really no time frame, but that cooling off period is key because it sort of differentiates between the other two because the other two
Mm.
don't have that cooling off period. But the goal as well is different. So with serial killers, the goal is psychological satisfaction.
Yep.
So the motivation is different. The motivation is almost for themselves.
Yeah.
Motivation
Yeah.
is their
Yeah.
own psychological satisfaction. When you are talking about serial killers as well, the majority of the time and nearly all cases involve some type of trophy
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
from the events. They'll often return to events to just relive that power, that
Hmm.
gratification of what
Yeah.
they've done. Mass, which you got right, is as many people in one place.
Hmm.
So what you're talking there is like, schools, mosques,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever. Um, and their main goal is just to target
Destruction as much as possible.
target a large group of people and take as many
Yeah.
as they can. Um, Generally, it's because of revenge
Hmm.
or notoriety. So they want to be seen as they want to go down in history, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Generally, that follows a rule of four or more
Okay.
at the one time, and it's generally at a single location. Again, it's instant, so you're talking minutes. You
Hmm.
know, spree is slightly different from mass in the sense that spree is generally, as it sounds, on the move.
Yeah. Traveling.
So there was a famous one, and I can't remember the name of the person that's doing my head in, but they basically got like um, I don't think it was an LMG, I think it was an AK, I don't know, but they basically put it out the back of their truck,
Okay.
lay down in the back of their truck, and as they were driving, just were shooting people.
That's
Um,
mental. Let me
it could,
guess. America?
yeah, it could be hours or days, two or more is the
Yeah.
rule that they follow for that one.
Okay.
Um, and again, no cooling off period. It's instant. Majority of the time, it's out of anger
Hmm.
or rage. Um, and generally, the difference is one of the key differences between them is that with mass and spree, they generally know that. there's only one end to it, and that is with them
Yeah.
going down.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
Serial killers are different in the sense that some part of them believes that they're smart enough to get away with it, and generally,
Yeah, and I think they also like serial killers seem to like the whole cat and mouse chase element of the whole thing,
yeah,
and it
there's
like they'll
some
leave
really
little
famous ones.
clues and stuff like that. Yeah.
So that's your three types. Um, and so whenever you're looking at the news or you're seeing like an event or you're thinking of something in history, if you sort of apply them things to it, you would be able to tell yourself
Hmm.
what it would fall under. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So it's just a wee bit of fun sort of fact for you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's
That's pretty
very
sick, though.
interesting.
So it is. It is. Like it always interests me and stuff like that. Like also the how the mind works of them sort of people
Mhm.
interests me massively.
It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating.
Mm.
So
You've done some like little explanations to me before, like when we've been talking
yeah,
about it, like
it,
psychos and stuff like that, which like it, I love it so
it
much.
it really annoys me when people say that line of, "Oh, that person's such a psycho,"
Mm.
because it really degrades what that actually means. You know, psychopathy you're born with, essentially. Do you know, it's something that's it's genetic in the sense that it's your actual brain.
Yeah,
You know, it's lacking the ability to
it's basically an illness
produce
that you're born
emotion.
with, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll tell you now, I would absolutely hate to be a psychopath because, and it's a spectrum, obviously, but like, what's the other thing as well? Like, what we're talking about here is the very highest of the spectrum
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because you can do psychopathy tests, and we had to do it in uni, and you fall like everyone falls at different parts in the spectrum. Some people are more, have more psychopathic tendencies than other people. But what
I'd
we're
love to do
talking
an
about,
own test.
you can do it. They're free. You do them online. There's one,
No
is it
way.
Levinson? It begins with L anyway.
No, mate, let's do it and we'll post the results of each other's.
Yeah, let's do it. Absolutely.
That's
I
sick.
think I actually fall a bit higher than the average person on it, so I do.
Dun
Yeah.
dun dun.
But when we're talking about psychopaths, we're not talking about murderers. We're talking about people who cannot process empathy
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
level of the average person. So, and what that means is that a lot of people mistake that for thinking that they can't feel anything, which
Hmm.
isn't the case because generally they will be able to feel hatred, they will be able to feel rage,
Yeah, the
and they
negatives, yeah.
will be able to, well, no, they'll also be able to feel gratification. You have to
Okay.
remember that they get something from
That's
these.
self-gratification though, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
What they lack and key is that they lack the ability to feel other people's
Okay, so like feel
emotions.
sorry for people and stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Or take other people's emotions into their own consideration.
Yeah, yeah.
So you generally find that, interestingly, that surgeons fall very high.
Yeah, because they're literally inflicting pain on everybody and just not, it's like their daily
When
thing.
when you think about it, like being able to have the ability and they're helping people. They are helping people,
Yeah,
but still the ability to be able to cut into another person.
yeah,
You would have to fall high on it, which is why it annoys me because that doesn't make them bad people. In fact, surgeons are some of the
no,
best people
100%. They save
in the
lives.
world that
Yeah.
save lives. Do you know what I mean? And they're the most intelligent and incredible people. Um, but unfortunately, what you find is that people that fall very high on the psychopathy, at the very highest level, when we're talking about these serial killers today, people at the very highest have very,
Mm,
very, very high IQs. They're smarter than me and you.
yeah.
They're more intelligent. They know how to manipulate situations. They know how
Yeah,
to
of course.
mask themselves to be essentially just another person in the crowd.
Yeah.
And
That's
you know,
so, it's mad to say that it's cool, yeah, but it is bloody cool.
one
Like
of
the way
the
that they can make their brain work. Crazy.
one of the best for that was Ted Bundy.
Hmm.
So Ted Bundy is a real fascinating um event. that happened in history because he witnesses and people who sort of met him, right, have literally said, and I think I've got this right. I really hope I've got this right. But they came out and said that essentially it's not like he was. So basically, he was able to pick up all these women,
Mm.
right? Like literally, women were just getting into his car.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So everyone
And he
had this
weren't even that good
assumption.
looking either.
Well, this is the thing. Everyone had this assumption that he must have been this absolute babe that everyone.
Yeah,
But witnesses and people that met him literally have said that it was like he was a different person every time. So if he did his
yeah,
hair a different way or was in a different mood, it was like his whole face changed. He was a
yeah.
completely different person and he was just an average fella. But he was a master manipulator.
Hmm.
Um, and he was able to get away with his crimes and he found an abs like he was one of the first to utilize this issue, but back then when he was sort of what's the word active,
Yeah,
police in America. So you have your county lines. So you have
yeah,
different
yeah, yeah.
sheriff departments in different jurisdictions, and they didn't communicate.
Yeah. And they
So
couldn't cross over either.
no, so they didn't communicate. So Ted Bundy bounced across state lines.
Yeah, pretty much rendering him impossible to catch.
Yeah, and the only reason he was caught was because one of his victims escaped,
Hmm. Which is
uh,
mad.
and she picked him out in a lineup. But he, yeah, really, really fascinating. Do you know much about?
See, I only watched like bits of the documentary on Netflix. So
Okay,
he's not like I'm not massively American ones are not really my thing, and
okay.
I'm
Well,
more UK based.
have you ever watched the show Criminal Minds?
No.
No. Okay, so it's essentially about the BAU, the Behavioral Analysis Unit in the FBI.
Okay.
So that came into fruition before Ted Bundy, but
Hmm.
it was a laughing stock.
Okay.
So essentially, the Behavioral Analysis Unit, what they were trying to start was that policing isn't just about trying to catch, your common criminal.
Yeah.
What you had to do was you had to understand what the motives were, what the person's upbringing was, how they might interact in society, what type of job they might have,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
that with all that information, you'll be able to find the person
Smart.
you're looking for. But that was a laughing stock because people were like, "That's not real police work."
Yeah.
Fascinatingly, though, after Ted Bundy was caught, which I think you said you watched the what the what the documentary, he escaped like two or three times.
Mm.
Did you see that?
Yeah. Mental.
One of them was he jumped off the stairs in the courthouse
Yeah, but that's
and
mental.
limped out
How?
the door and got away.
Yeah. Mental.
But anyway,
How's
whenever
he
he
just
was,
getting away from that as well?
I don't
Like,
know.
surely you'd up the security for the level of criminal you have as well.
um, whenever he was caught, he was interviewed, and what? And again, I think I've got this right. I hope I've got this right. The person who was interviewing him was a criminal psychologist for the
Yeah.
BAU, and he used Ted Bundy's narcissism against him,
Okay.
and basically started stroking his ego and saying, oh, we've got this really difficult case, and we can't pinpoint the type of offender we're looking for. Like we're
Mm.
completely blind, and they were like if you were looking for this type of person, like what would you do? So what Ted Bundy started doing was talking about himself in the third person because
What
he
dick?
he is so
Egotistical. Yeah.
narcissistic that he was like, well, if it was me, I'd be looking for someone that maybe has mommy issues and it was literally listing off all this stuff and they were jotting it all down and they used that to catch the person they were looking for. And in a way, Ted Bundy certified the behavioral analysis.
Yeah.
And now it's like one of the
Smashed it.
biggest things of catching serial killers.
That's sick. So he's
Um,
like a pioneer.
yeah, we it's almost like we have to thank him for something, which is bizarre.
Is dead.
But like I said, he was a narcissist on top of
It's an
anything else,
arsehole, mate.
and he even in the end he blamed his crimes on pornography.
Wanker.
Basically, just avoiding blame himself.
Of course, yeah. And he thinks he can rest easy now, isn't it?
But essentially, like from what they got from him, it helped sell that idea of behavioral analysis to the FBI, and now it's one of the biggest forms of catching
Mm.
people like this.
She's brilliant.
And see if you look into like behavioral analysis, it is fascinating,
I can imagine it is, to be fair.
absolutely fascinating.
Mm.
Um,
It's worrying though, isn't it? Because like you think, like if you was in that room, let's say you haven't done anything,
mhm.
someone's constantly watching every little single thing you do and trying to link it back to something. So say if you was a suspect in something, yeah, you know, hands down, you haven't done it,
Mhm.
and they're there, they're watching, they're listening to every little single thing you say and trying to link it.
You see, the thing is, they do all this work before they bring someone in, so
Oh, okay.
they won't even know who they're looking for. What they'll do is they'll go, right, well, let's look at the crime scene. Okay,
Hmm.
if you have more than three victims, right, in a space of time, and somebody makes the link that, well, they either all come from the same sort of job role, or they
Yeah.
maybe all look similar, or they're all maybe, it's maybe carried out in the same style.
Yeah.
You know, then somebody will go, okay, there might be a link here. So then you start to look at, who is the person, so say it is prostitutes,
Hmm.
right? So you now have three prostitutes that all look the same, who were all dispatched of in the same way.
Yeah.
You go, okay, so what we could potentially be looking for here is uh someone who has a troubled past, someone who's maybe had some sort of mommy issue. So maybe they've been in the care system.
Okay. Yeah, 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 makes sense. Yeah, it does
Someone
make
that's maybe
sense, to be
been through
fair.
the care system, someone who's maybe traumatized. So what you then can
Mm.
start to do is start to run database searches on
Yeah, so
people
like
in the area,
who's had reports to
you
do
know,
with family issues or something like that.
and then
Yeah.
you take other evidence. So you're looking at, it could be stab wounds. Okay, so you can work at the height of the offender based on a stab
Yeah,
wound,
yeah.
sort of thing. So you go, okay, so we're looking for someone about this height, who's maybe in the care system, who's about this strong,
Mm.
who's maybe had a traumatic past. What you start to do is build a picture
Yeah, yeah,
that you
yeah.
can narrow down, and through databases you can go. We now have went from going completely blind to having 200 suspects.
Yeah. Then you
So
start
what
bringing
else
people in
about
there.
these can help us narrow that down? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so smart actually.
You know,
So smart.
what's the distance? So if it's people all within the same state, and it's one person every month, then
Mm.
you're going to yourself, okay, we have 3 weeks. If another one turns up in
Yeah.
3 weeks, this person's working in a monthly cycle. Why are they working in a monthly cycle? Is it because of their work? Do they travel? Do you know what I mean? So
That's so sick. I'd
it's
love to do a job like that.
it's absolutely fascinating. I love it. See that whole behavioral analysis. Like
Yeah,
when it,
that's fucking
when you first
class.
hear about it, you're like, this is naff, and then when you actually start looking into it, you're like, oh my days, this is incredible.
That's like real proper deep down inspector sort of
hmm
shit. That's class. I want to do that. I want that
Um,
to be my job.
but yeah, so it's really fascinating, and I think obviously the people that carry out these things are absolutely it's heinous crimes.
Yeah, they're atrocious people.
But yeah, if it wasn't for Ted Bundy, we might not have
Mm.
that type of investigation style. Do you know?
Yeah, which is
Um,
mental.
the when you're looking at like serial killers, like they're all they're all different in what they do, but their mindsets are all the same. Do you
Yeah.
know? And it's never just a psychopath or not a psychopath. You could have a psychopath that has also very extreme levels of narcissism and bipolar disorder or just schizophrenia. They generally all go hand in hand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, she's bad. Well, I wanted to move on, yeah. I know
Hmm.
we'll come back to serial killers because it is a fun thing to talk about, but I wanted to get your like opinion on probably one of the biggest stories of our generation, at least,
Hmm.
Maddie McCann.
Hmm.
What do you, what I'm hoping that everyone listening knows the story of Madeline McCann. What
Yeah.
is your opinion?
Um, so I haven't went into this in massive depth, but from the
Yeah.
face of it and from what I have read and seen, and this is just my opinion. This is
hmm
nothing that
It's
like
not
I'm
facts.
saying is
Like we said, it's all alleged.
I do believe that she was trafficked.
Yep.
And unfortunately I don't think she is with us anymore.
Okay.
Um, my main reason for that is I personally think that she was trafficked. But the problem is that that type of crime generally involves people who don't they don't want attention.
hmm
The Madeline McCann story became a worldwide
Yeah. No, you couldn't move
headline.
for it. Every newspaper every single day for at least a year.
And it's horrible to explain it like this, but it's the only way I can think of right now is that trafficking is almost like business. So
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you have, so in a business, if you have a product that you're trying to, you advertise or sell to a prospective buyer,
hmm
okay? So if I have a laptop that I'm looking to sell to someone, and this
I
is my
see where
product,
you're going with
and
this.
this is my product, and suddenly there's a worldwide thing that my laptop will explode whenever people turn it on, I'm not going to be able to sell that laptop. Do you get me?
I don't know if you was going where I've just thought you was going. I thought you was going to go in the social media was like the free advertisement.
No, no, because the thing is, if I'm so just think about it this way: if I'm trying to so if we're on a call now and I'm trying to sell you my laptop, right,
Yeah.
and I'm going, listen, I've designed this laptop. I have this laptop. It's top of the range. Big money, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there is global news stories about how my particular laptop, whenever you turn it on, it will set on fire.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I, ca- I,
It's
I, ca-
in
I can't
it's
I can't
yeah,
do
you're
anything
not
with
gonna
it.
sell it. Yeah,
I
you're
can't
not
do
selling it.
anything with it.
Yeah.
Um. So that that's where
I have
I'm.
two theories,
Mm.
both
Go for it.
involving the parents. Because
Mm.
like obviously alleged, I think they're to blame in any situation.
Yeah.
Because they were known for giving their children sleeping stuff to make them go sleep and that.
I don't
And they were
know.
both what are they called? Anesthetists? Is
Okay.
that what they called? Ones that like put you to sleep and stuff in the
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
hospital.
That's what. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an atheist. Yeah.
They were both trained anesthetists. That's another word I can't say. You can add that to the repertoire. Um, I think they gave her too much.
Okay. Oh,
She
interesting.
died.
Okay. Okay.
She's died. They've panicked.
And they've
What
covered
do
it
we
up.
do? What do we do? So, like, this is what one reason I believe this theory, yeah, because the car they rented 3 weeks later, Maddie's blood was found in the boot.
Hmm.
How? Unless that
Yeah.
car was part of the kidnapping, and then they just happened to rent it 3 weeks later.
Um. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I like your theory. Uh.
Second theory. which is a big theory at the moment, obviously due to the Epstein stuff that's come out.
Mhm.
Jerry and Jeffrey Epstein are part of the Red Soul Shoe Club or whatever it's called. It's like
Okay.
a secret society club. They're both registered members as the same club.
Okay.
The e-sketch of the person that took was seen carrying Maddie that night is Ghislaine Maxwell, 1 million%,
Okay.
like 1 million%. Also, there was a meeting that week in Portugal with Epstein and Jerry and Ghislaine and the rest of the Red Soul Shoe Club thing. And recently, a receptionist has come out and said that she remembers Jerry McCann coming back into the hotel and saying to her, "Is Epstein still here?" She said, "No, he's just left, but he'll be back." And he said, "Well, leave this message. Give this message to him. He can have one, but not all three."
Okay. I don't know.
Now, I
I
don't know
don't.
if people are just riding the bandwagon
You see,
of Epstein, which is a problem.
yeah, I haven't. That's what I mean when I say I haven't went into too much
Yeah.
detail on it. So like I wouldn't really know. But yeah, you're right. You're right to be conservative about it because you kind of have to think to yourself, why now?
Um, Same reason people came out when Jimmy Savile died. Too powerful at the time, and no one will listen.
Yeah, I don't know. My
But
fear is
then,
that it's an easy cop out.
yeah, massively. But
Easy
bit of a
cop out to
coincidence, they
blame
are part
someone
of the
that
same
is,
group.
yeah. Yeah, listen, I think both theories could work. I think
Like, can I just
on
like, God forbid this ever happens to any of us or nothing like that, yeah. But
mhm,
picture yourself as their parents, right? So, here, I've written down some things here. So, obviously, the blood in the car.
mhm,
Yeah. Kate McCann washed Madeline's favourite teddy after she went missing, right? And they moved around the stuff in the room and stuff like that,
mhm.
like closed windows and stuff.
Yeah,
Right. So picture yourself as a parent, yeah? You walk into the room, one of your kids is missing. You're not going around and closing windows and stuff, are you?
no.
And you're not interfering with what you would know to be a crime scene.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's one of those scenarios that here's the biggest problem as well. I think it was the Portuguese police
Mm,
were tragic in the initial
yeah,
investigations.
horrendous.
So they compromised so much evidence that
Yep.
it now is borderline impossible
Yeah.
to actually work out what happened. I think it's a very sad, awful
Yeah, it's
event that
horrible, yeah.
I do believe was to some extent orchestrated. And
Hmm.
it's just horrible. Do you know, like
Yes. It's a sick world we live in, no matter which way you look at it, and it like children's lives are just so underappreciated.
mhm,
Life is actually so under fucking appreciated by people, and it's just sad.
yeah. Yeah, and then unfortunately you have people coming out saying that they're Maddie and all, and it's
Yeah, like that Russian girl, whatever it was,
yeah,
and she like, yeah, stop. But then this the problem with today's generation, isn't it? They're all fucking mad for a bit of fame, so they'll do anything for it. Like
I
we've
know,
covered it in the social media stuff, so
yeah, it's just horrible. I just feel like, and this is the problem whenever the police don't do their job. Do you know,
yeah.
when we were in uni, we did a whole thing on crime scene investigation, and it was so I got to play the role of a dead body, which was good fun. So
So that was little sleep.
I had to lay down in the ground in a position that I thought would look like I was dead. Literally, I did exactly that. Um, and then like my group had to then follow a protocol. So
Okay.
first responder, um, so the police that are the first responder actually can't compromise any of the evidence. The only people that can go into the crime scene are the crime scene investigators, and they're in full get up. So, because any sort of trace amounts, like, see if a policeman walks in to a crime scene and he
Yeah.
drops one follicle of hair on the
That's
evidence,
yeah.
it's compromised and thrown out of court.
Yeah, that's mad.
So,
That's so
see when you
mad.
watch these shows like CSI Miami and all, and your fella
Yeah, they just
Horatio
walk
Todd
straight
walks up
in.
and he walks over a dead body and he was like, "We've got another one."
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like, he has
Unrealistic.
just compromised the crime scene about a million different ways.
Yeah, yeah,
But,
yeah.
you know, whenever the Portuguese police go in and they've compromised evidence and they've maybe moved things around as well, um, and
Mm,
not realized the implications of what they've done, and then boom, the whole place is not fit. You know?
yeah. There's just so much you like. We can't. I don't want to speculate because it is a sore subject. Obviously, someone's
Yeah.
lost their child out there at the end of the day, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
like to point fingers because if I'm not right, then I feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I just come on, someone tell the truth now. I don't want to get to a ripe old age of 80, drop down dead and not know. It's one of them ones.
You
Like
never
I've
know,
been
in the
invested
future
since the
something might
start.
might come out and it may be solved. Like, this is what happens with a lot of these things,
Yeah, it's very
years down
true.
the line.
It's very true.
Okay, so the next one I want to discuss is the Zodiac Killer.
Okay, which I'm not too sure if I know anything about.
Okay, so there is a movie called The Zodiac.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Okay.
It's all about the case. Basically, he was a serial killer who he got the name the Zodiac Killer because what he started to do was he was so um what's the word? He was so narcissistic and so full of himself that he
Hmm.
started sending notes to the police,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
but they were encrypted. So some of them they decrypted pretty quickly,
yeah. Hmm.
right? And they were useless information, essentially. A couple of them, um, they couldn't decrypt for a while. Here's an amazing fact.
Yeah.
One of them, sorry, there's three that still aren't decrypted. I think it's three, two or
Arden.
three. Yeah. One of them was decrypted in 2020,
Mad.
51 years after the event.
No.
A team of international decoders eventually decrypted it. Um,
Oh, mad.
do you want to hear what it said?
Yes, please.
I have it right in front of me so that I don't get it wrong.
Yeah.
Hmm. So I'll just read out the wee statement. The Z340 breakthrough. This 340 character puzzle remained unsolved for 51 years. It wasn't until 2020 that an international team of code breakers finally cracked it.
Okay.
What it said: I hope you're having lots of fun trying to catch me. I'm not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to my paradise all the sooner.
That's wild.
This man was the original prankster of serial killing.
Yeah.
Um,
Wild, by the way.
he literally was sending notes to the police
Did
that basically be like, "Catch me if you can."
did he get caught?
No. So they did have someone in custody and blah blah blah, and they have their theories of who. So one of them, their main suspect was a fella that they say is most likely to be him
Hmm.
because he wore a zodiac uh style watch, um and he was I think around the areas and things and blah blah blah,
Hmm.
but they don't know for sure because this fella that they think it was, none of his fingerprints or the the saliva on the letters he was sending, none of them matched him.
Okay.
So what people think is one theory is that the Zodiac killer used a decoy.
Yeah, send
So
letters
used
or
someone to send letters for him,
yep,
which could have been the case. We don't know.
been smart.
But he often sent letters to be like basically make fun of the place.
Yeah,
But it took them so long to decrypt them that whenever they got them decrypted, it was like,
he was 10
it was
steps
pretty
ahead
much
already.
like, haha, you
Yeah,
thought this would be useful. There's
dickheads.
two or three that are still not decrypted.
Oh, mate.
One of them, and I believe this as well, but they believe is the key because it's so short and that's why they can't decrypt it. There's not enough of it to
Yeah,
like correspond to anything else to be like, okay, well, them two are the same, so they must be, a certain letter sort of thing.
yeah.
It's so short that they think it's his name.
Okay.
Um, Really amazing movie to watch. To be fair,
Yeah,
just
I
for
don't know
the
if I have watched it or not, mate. Yeah. Why was he called the Zodiac Killer though? Where
because
does the Zodiac come in?
the symbols he used were like, I think they were like zodiac symbols, but it was to do with because it was all, so the letters he sent were all wee symbols
Mm-hmm.
that corresponded to a letter, so it was like it was cryptic.
You better know I'm looking him up after this. I've
Um,
got to try and crack the one that they haven't been able to.
it's absolutely, honestly, it's one of the most fascinating cases I've ever seen. A lot of people have a theory that he was in law enforcement.
Mm,
So he was able to, that's how he was able to stay one step ahead. Other
yeah.
people say that he was just able to stay one step ahead because he literally, every letter he sent kept them busy for months.
Yeah, yeah, it would
When
make
you
sense,
think
wouldn't
about
it?
it, if you don't want someone to catch you doing something, if you distract them with a piece of paper for 4 months,
Yeah.
you've won. Do
Yeah,
you know?
you kind of getting away from, yeah, definitely.
Um, Interestingly though, that that letter I read you out, the word paradise is spelt wrong. Now the actual letter, that's only a, I think that's only a wee bit of it because it's sort of a wee bit more filled out because he says paradise twice in it, but he spells paradise with a C instead of an S.
Also, Pardice.
Yeah, and he does
Mm,
it twice. Now here's the thing, and this is where it gets really funny because they think that the reason he does that is somebody originally said, "Oh, he must be uneducated," and then somebody else says that the reason he may have done it is because it may have been a leading clue.
mm.
C. So why C? Why the letter C? Is that maybe what his name starts with? Whatever. Here's a theory.
It's reaching.
Did they just get the decoding wrong?
Yeah, shit.
Because of course, if they get it wrong in one, they're going to go right. Well, that's C. I wonder
Yeah,
that one's C as
100%.
well.
But imagine in that
What if it's F?
situation, he's literally like, yeah, they've got all the rest of the C's and S's mixed up.
So he stopped. He just randomly stopped sending letters, and everything stopped just
Yeah.
randomly. And there's several theories for that. People think that either he died of natural causes,
Mm-hmm.
or he was incarcerated for something completely unrelated.
But then you can
Or
still send letters whilst, but I suppose they get checked and stuff in it.
that's yeah, that would be, you would give yourself up pretty easy.
Yeah.
Um, and the other theory is that he was just satisfied with the destruction he had caused, and that was it. But
Mm,
the last one, I really don't agree with. I don't think that's the case. That's not how psychopaths work.
no,
Um, I
they're
do
never
think
satisfied in it.
he may have died because there's there's a belief that he was actually a relatively older man. He wasn't a younger man.
Mm,
You know, he wasn't bouncing about doing killings left, right, and center. It was all very broken up, and sent a letter between each to sort of keep people busy. He got more enjoyment of messing with the police than anything
yeah,
else.
cat and mouse game in it.
But yeah, really,
Yeah,
really fascinating. Um,
it's sick actually. I love
The
that sort of stuff, like the mystery behind it,
there
and they
is the
still unsolved
theory
as well.
there
Crazy.
is the theory as well that all the letters were hoaxes, but I don't believe that. I think that's jumping off the whole Jack the Ripper thing, and I do think they were
Yeah,
from him. I think he enjoyed it.
yeah. I don't like the hoax of making up symbols and stuff like that. No, that's just too long, is it? If you're
Well,
gonna
like
hoax, you're just gonna write.
they spent 51 years trying to crack that one they cracked in 2020.
Yeah,
Can we just imagine for a second that we're part of that international code breaking team? And
51
51
years.
years they spent, everyone, different organizations spent trying to crack this thing. And then in 2020, you're part of a team and you crack it and you're like, we've done
Yeah,
it. And it
but
literally says, kill me if you want. I don't
yeah,
care.
that's what I was gonna say. Like they get no gratification for that as well,
Because that's
because
what
it's
the,
not like they get paid for it, or like
that's,
they get a bonus for solving it.
that's what the end of the letter said. It's not on this, but it said something like, um, I'm not afraid of the gas chamber because it'll send me to paradise all the sooner. I have plenty of slaves and you have none, or something. He believed that the people he was killing were, when he killed them, they would be slaves for him in the afterlife. That
Oh,
was his
okay,
delusion.
mental.
So yeah, I
Can I
mean,
just say, yeah, 51 years
mm,
ago, was this when he was active?
he abruptly stopped in the 1970s.
Right, so gas chambers
Mm,
were their thing then?
I don't know if that was a form of
No, because they've done lethal
corporal,
injection and
the chair.
the chair. Yeah, the gas
Well,
chambers were one of the
what
thing
was
then.
the chair? I had that on here actually. Ted Bundy, because he got the chair. What was it
Mm.
called? It was called something. Um,
So, do you think maybe they got the gas chambers wrong as well because it's not topical in the slightest to his current time?
they might have made, but also the thing you need to think about as well is that these serial killers are very very high IQ, and that whole thing about the gas chambers, like, could that be an inkling to
His
something?
beliefs,
No, but could it be something? Could that be a leading sort of? Do you know? I don't know. Does he have
Jewish
German heritage
descendants or
or
Jewish
Jewish?
descendants? Yeah, because
Do you know what
maybe
I mean?
that's yeah, because maybe that's the way his ancestors
Hmm.
died, and he's now ready to face the same. Yeah, so fucked. Don't, because we'll be here for like until next month, just talking
I know.
theories on how we could solve the world. Yeah, mad, absolutely mental. Anything else about him?
No, but I just found the name of the electric chair in Florida. It was Old Sparky.
That's mental. So the policeman would literally bang on your cell and be like, "It's old Sparky Day."
It's Old
Oh,
Sparky.
that's horrid, actually.
Hmm.
Talking of old Sparky, let's move on to my next person,
Hmm.
the Yorkshire Ripper,
Take it away.
also known as Peter Sutcliffe.
Hmm.
I feel like a newsman reading like this, but my back hurts, so bear
And
with.
tonight
Yeah.
on the sidebar.
He was a lorry driver from Bradford,
Hmm.
active between 1975 and 1980, so a 5 year span. And in that 5 years, he murdered at least 13 women,
Hmm.
attacked at least seven more who survived. So he wasn't very good at it. Well, I say that, it's disgusting. Don't say that, because it's not a good thing to do. Um, Mostly spanning the north of the UK.
Hmm.
Targeted women walking alone at night. His
Opportunistic.
main, yeah, his main weapons of choice were a hammer and a knife
Yep.
for
So.
bludgeoning and slicing,
Hmm.
so causing as much damage as possible.
Hmm.
they were very sudden and violent attacks. So I could imagine they weren't like premeditated. As he was a lorry driver, I reckon he was just driving around, up and out the motor.
Oh no, 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 100% premeditated.
Okay.
So
Okay,
what?
premeditated, but not pre-planned. Like they didn't choose their person. Or do you think he has chose his
But that's
person?
part of the. So when you talk about choosing your person, yes, he didn't choose a specific person, but generally serial killers don't. What they have is a victim profile. So
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Ted Bundy drove about in his Volkswagen Beetle,
yeah,
and he would have found girls maybe coming out of parties or whatever, pulled over, give them a few compliments, see if they wanted to lift home, that sort of thing. This fella's sort of the same. His MO, his modus operandi is vulnerable women
women at night.
who are out
Yeah.
at night.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I get you.
So, but what the thing with premeditation, and that's what categorizes it differently whenever it comes to criminal charges, because premeditated makes it murder in the first degree. So
Hmm.
premeditated. So if you think about premeditated, so if you're talking about the weapon of choice,
Hmm.
right? If your weapon of choice is a semi-automatic rifle,
Yeah,
okay, it's easier for that to not be premeditated in the sense that it's almost a wild option, right?
yeah,
Um, if you're using something as intimate as a, a hammer,
yeah.
the
You know
premeditation
what
has to
you're
be
doing.
there.
Yeah, because you're taking it out of you as well.
Because think of the self restraint that you would have to lack to
Yeah, to go through with it.
go through that. Mm.
Yeah,
It's easier to pull
yeah,
a trigger from a
100%.
distance than it is to,
Yeah,
you know what I
100%.
mean?
Yeah, 100%. That makes, yeah,
Um,
I get that. I get that. I get that.
so that's where, whenever it comes to like the criminal charges, it would be a case of if he was to plead, it was, self defense, or, it wasn't premeditated, it was completely out of the blue. Well, no, it wasn't,
Yeah,
because
because you went out with
you went out with that.
these,
Do you know what
yeah,
I
you
mean?
went out equipped to do these things. Yeah, makes completely sense. Following like Jack the Ripper, his early victims were all sex workers.
Mhm.
Um, it was one of the biggest manhunts in British history.
Quick question.
Yeah.
I actually don't know a lot about this case, so that's why I'm asking.
Okay.
So you just mentioned there his early victims were prostitutes.
Yeah.
What were the later ones?
I am honest, I don't know.
Okay, we'll run off the assumption that it wasn't prostitutes
Yeah.
then.
His early victims were, but I think his later victims were just anyone. I think he got
Well, then this is where the behavioral analysis comes in, doesn't it? Because you're not then looking for someone who is targeting prostitutes. You're looking at someone who is targeting women
women.
alone,
Yeah, it's just
alone
women.
in
Yeah.
general. Um, that is a power thing because he's not running the risk of a man being involved. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, it's just interesting when you look at it from different angles.
Yeah. So he was
Mm.
arrested in 1981.
Mm.
I don't know why I've got written here 1975 to 1980. I guess his last
Yeah, well,
killing
that's
was in
no, that's
1980.
right.
Yeah.
Active period is basically until they're incarcerated,
Yeah.
as
So
I
he was
recall.
arrested in 1981 in Sheffield.
Mm.
But do you know why he was arrested or how he was found out?
Oh, it'd be something stupid like he was breaking the speed limit or something.
He was pulled over for having false plates on his car.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was stopped for a routine check. Officers became suspicious and investigated him, found him guilty of 13 murders. He was sentenced to life, diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, spent years in Broadmoor Hospital, then went back to prison, and died in prison in 2020.
Did he die? What did he? Was he killed?
He just died, old age.
He just died.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, do you know what though? Generally, that's how serial killers are caught because they're smart. They
Yeah.
know how to evade the law, and generally the way they're caught is for something stupid,
Mm.
like they've run a red light, or
Yeah,
do you
like
know?
he got away with it for nigh on 6 years
I can't
and
remember how Ted
then just
Bundy
got.
was arrested.
This is what I'm saying, yeah, like, do you not think that the Yorkshire Ripper and Jack the Ripper are pretty similar in
um,
ways? Do you not think that, what are they called? Imitation serial killers? Like,
I,
they're quite popular in it.
listen, serial killers like anyone else have idols that they look up to,
Yeah.
that they want to be, and you know, so yes, it's very plausible that one of his idols may have been Jack the Ripper,
Mm.
in the sense that he probably shared his sick ideology. Um, so yeah, I suppose in some aspects that is the case. However, if you were to ask him, that would probably make him very angry. I read
Yeah,
a
because
book once,
he's, yeah.
and it was a fella, and I can't remember his name, but he was a psychologist. Was it O'Hare, something like that. But his book was fascinating. So basically, what he did was he interviewed serial killers and psychopaths
Mm.
who were in jail for murders or whatever.
Yeah.
But he talks about how he met with this one person, and he would have met with them once a month. They At the start, he said that the person was very closed off, constantly just making sort of jokes, firing things back at him, couldn't really make any headway. And then all of a sudden, he started to break down what he seemed was a barrier. And this serial killer and psychopath started to properly like talk about
Mm.
himself, sort of,
Yeah.
really open up about like who he was, how he felt, blah blah blah. And this psychologist was like, "This is brilliant!" Like getting all this information down. And this went on for a while. And then the psychologist who was doing it talks about in his book about how when he went to this one meeting with them, he thought to himself they'd built a bit of a rapport. He gained a bit of his trust. So he was going to ask him about the murder.
Mm.
So he sat down across the table from him and they were having their cup of tea and a biscuit and just their normal conversations. And he says, "Well, listen, I would love to talk to you um about the murder of such and such."
Yeah.
And apparently instantly the person he was interviewing, their face, he says their face completely changed, almost to someone else. And out of nowhere they launched across the table and started choking him on the ground and laughing hysterically in their face.
Mm.
And he said in that moment, he realized that he had been manipulated the entire time.
Yeah, it's mad.
Everything that that person told him, and it seemed like they were sort of building a rapport and all, was
Mm.
all false. Everything was false because the moment he tried to talk about something that was truth, they reverted back to their old selves and tried to kill him.
Um, I get that. But also, in another way, yeah, like I know obviously that man's a professional and he probably knows what he's talking about. But do you not maybe think that mentioning the name of the person he killed, yeah, triggered like the person's schizophrenia to bring that person forward that is the killer?
No, I think I can't remember exactly in the book, but I think what was basically said from the person to the psychiatrist was basically he was mocking him,
Hmm.
almost being like, "You thought you were making headway.
Ah, okay, yeah,
It was
yeah, yeah.
all a game, essentially." Do you know when he realized that
Okay,
he
yeah.
made a massive mistake? He
That's
thought that
mad.
he had a breakthrough with a psychopath. He thought that like he had broken down barriers, and it just wasn't the case.
Just one big game in it, though, most of the time.
Yeah, it's one big, awful, horrendous game. And like, yeah, you'd be surprised the people who are psychopaths. We talked about it briefly earlier. You know, we're talking about people who are high up on the psychopathy table. Here's an interesting one:
Go on.
David James.
Well, the goalkeeper.
Mm. He ranked extremely high in the psychopathy test.
Really?
You can read about it. He basically goes on to say that, like, as a professional footballer, you have to be, you know, almost self-absorbed. You have to be bigging yourself up, etc. Um, yeah, what? He
He
ranked very
hanked.
high. He ranked very high. That's what, yeah, in the psychopathy test because he said basically as a pro level athlete, you have to be a certain level of self-absorbed and promote yourself and make yourself sound almost better than what you are because that's part
Yeah.
of it. Um, that's what I mean by it's a scale. You know, there's psychopathy and there's sociopathy, which is two different things.
Okay. Okay.
So generally, people will say that person's a sociopath or that person's a psychopath,
Yeah.
but generally they have no idea what.
So what is the meaning? I know you went into the meaning of psychopath.
Yeah, so well, psychopath is innate, so it's in them. Do you know,
Yeah.
it's to do with your brain function. Sociopathy is it's learned behavior.
Hmm.
So you're talking like I don't want to start naming names, but like think of a mobile phone brand that we both use. You
Yeah.
know, the heads of them brands generally to
Yep.
get to them levels of business, you have to be a certain level of sociopath
Yeah.
because
Cutthroat.
a sociopath will walk over whoever they need to get to where they want. So,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
So mainly everyone that's successful.
yeah, so yeah, essentially, with very limited empathy, similar to a psychopath, but generally the difference is a psychopath is a complete lack of empathy.
Hmm.
Sociopath is um very limited in the sense that they don't feel that other people's feelings are as important as theirs.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? The other key difference is that psychopaths are very, very good at blending into society. So, our lecturer told us once that on average, you will walk past at least one psychopath a month in the street because you would never know. The
Yeah.
difference
Yeah. Yeah.
is
Yeah.
a sociopath is clearly disturbed. They're very agitated. They're constantly working towards a goal. They're walking over other people. You'll hear about them. And they're spontaneous. They'll leave a trail of evidence, for
Hmm.
example. So I just watched a show actually tonight on Netflix. It's called The Con or something. Have you
Okay.
seen
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's different episodes of different people who have like had these big con schemes. So somebody pretends she's an heiress from Ireland and she's in
Yeah.
America and she basically cons people out of tens of thousands of pounds and stuff like that. But they leave a trail of evidence that
Yeah.
eventually gets them convicted. Psychopaths won't leave a trail of evidence that will get them convicted because they're clever, they're
Yeah.
methodical. Um, so you could talk about the easiest way to put it is psychopath is almost biological, it's genetic. A
Hmm.
sociopath is um it's a learned sort of environmental trauma sort of based thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I get
Um,
it.
but when you look at it that way, you can sort of probably think back at job roles you've done before and look at people who are really high up and go to yourself, yep, they are a
Yeah.
sociopath.
Yeah. Massively. Yeah.
To get the especially people in you talk about retail, you talk about people who are really high up in retail. To get to that level of
Hmm.
retail, you have to be able to just slaughter everyone around you.
Yep. But then
Um,
again, does I know it's probably a weird thing to say, but does a sociopath make you a bad person? No, it just makes you strive for more. And yes, you don't have as much empathy as everyone else towards other people, but
Here's the best way I can put it: being a psychopath and being a sociopath, neither of them things make you a bad person.
yeah,
What they can lead you to do will make you a bad person.
yeah,
So
facts. About how
if
you
you
control it.
I've always explained it to like Lauren and people that I talk to about it when I talk about psychopaths, is that you know, you stand on the edge of a cliff,
Hmm.
right? And you feel that adrenaline, that fear of like the height of it, what could happen if you were to
Yeah,
fall.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you
yeah.
start to think that a slightest breeze could push me off the edge,
Yep,
and you're genuinely afraid. A psychopath necessarily wouldn't be afraid of that. Death isn't something they fear. It's not something they So if you can imagine for a second, right, living your
Mm.
life and not having that empathy towards other people's feelings or that fear of your own mortality or just a lack of like emotions, it would be an awful life to live. So what happens is like anything like that, they start to push the boundaries to try and
Yeah.
get that gratification, and it's whenever they do that and they push it to the level where the only gratification they can get is the hunt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no,
Do you know what I
I get
mean?
you completely. Yeah. Yeah,
And it's the
yeah.
same with sociopaths. It doesn't make them a bad person because they're a sociopath, but what makes them a bad person is the people that they ruin on the way to their own success.
Yeah. No, yeah, 100% I do get it.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm excited to do these tests though. I won't lie.
Yeah, it's good
You
fun.
may or may not see them on the podcast and socials because if one of us comes to be like a top range psychopath, you may not
Neither of us
see them
are
results.
to that level of psychopath. Like you can tell, you can tell when you're interacting with people and you meet with people, if somebody has that empathy towards other people. The thing, what I mean is like I rank higher on the psychopathy table in the sense that like, so for example, because of my sort of childhood trauma or whatever, I find it I'd be very quick to cut people off.
Yep.
So if somebody wrongs me isn't the right word, but if somebody shows me that they do not care enough
Yeah.
to be in my life, my brain will very quickly shut off, like put up a wall and just be like, nope, don't.
This podcast is on the ropes then, guys. Better watch out.
um, so that for them reasons, I would rank higher in it. But when it comes to like empathy, I would be the complete other end of the scale. Do you know what I mean? Like when I hear
Yeah, you are
somebody,
very
do you
empathetic,
know what I
yeah.
mean? If I hear somebody's going
Empathetic, is
through,
that a word?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Like if I hear somebody's going through some sort of struggle, the first thing I want to do is try and help, not
Hmm.
try and capitalize on it.
Yeah.
So this is what I mean, where it's a spectrum.
See, it's weird, Jade, because like the way I feel, I don't know whether it's like the sertraline and stuff like that, but like I'm very unemotional to most things.
Hmm.
I'll ask people if they're all right, but do I really care? I don't know.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it really depends on the person in the situation, doesn't it? I mean,
I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm mental, do you know what I mean? But like,
but this is what we're talking about. We're
but then I
talking about,
guess I do care because I
but
do
we're,
care about how
but
people feel and stuff like that.
but
So
what we're
yeah,
talking about here is the brain function, which
yeah,
is, remember what I
yeah.
talked to you before about how your brain processes
Firing.
emotions and fires
Yeah.
neurons, and if they sort of are even off by like one tiny, tiny, tiny bit, minuscule bit, it can set off a whole catalog of. See, when you think about your brain controls everything you do. So
Hmm.
if you want to lift your hand, your brain's doing that. Your brain is literally doing everything.
Yeah.
So whenever we were in uni and we looked at like brain scans of like the average person and then like a psychopath, like there was such a clear difference. It was like there was black spots
Yeah.
where they were
Mad. You
like,
said
it's
to me
just
before.
not working.
Crazy.
Do and it's the same when you look at people who have
Does
like,
that like? Do you see? Sorry, I don't mean to like interrupt you, but
mhm.
it's fascinating. You see where the blackness is and stuff? Is that just because that part of the brain's dead?
It's because it is not firing the. So your brain is full of activity. So when you look at a brain scan, it's just because it's just constant nerves. It's constant activity.
Hmm.
It's almost like you look at it and it looks like electricity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if something in it isn't firing the information, that's the best way to put it. It's information. Your brain is firing information
Yeah.
across constantly, and if one part of it isn't doing that, then yeah, that part isn't the light bulb isn't coming on. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it's the same when you look at people who have like you know split personality disorder or extreme schizophrenia. It's a horrible. Do you know? It's very easy to just sit and go. You know, oh, that person's horrible. They, talk to themselves. They have two different personalities. Like that's,
Mm,
but like when you think about it, it's actually awful.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think there's, when you're looking at people who have, mental disorders or illnesses, you should be looking at ways to treat it. You should be looking at ways to try and help them manage it. The problem is that in the past it was never seen that way and it was never treated. So what happened was people had to just live with it. So you were
Mm,
really high up, you were a highly functioning psychopath. You were trying to get through life as that. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, terrifying.
Um,
Terrifying, by the way.
and I don't know. I just think it's horrendous and it is scary because like you just don't know who you're
No,
you're dealing with. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
But I think when you look at like psychopathy and all that stuff, like you look at anyone that does anything and they must have levels of it. So
I think we all do. Do you know what I mean? It's
they do
all of us have
they
got
do
bits and bobs of it in us.
like you look at like when I was younger, I used to do you know daddy long legs,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
spiders? When I was younger, I used to take them and pull all the legs off.
yeah. Serial killer. That's how
That's
they start.
that's the thing. Um, but like I would never kill a cat.
No,
But generally, serial killers, that's how they start to kill cats.
yeah.
But um, the, when you're looking
But
at
then again, I think you can just deep dive into that sort of stuff as well because yes, they want to kill, but why? Do you know what I mean? You were inflicting pain onto something else because it felt like it took pain away from you, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Like if you
oh,
want
this is
really
this is
wanted to
gonna
deep
sound
dive,
absolutely
I know,
horrendous.
but
It's gonna
no,
sound
go on.
horrendous. I actually just thought it was fun.
Yeah.
The difference is killing cats. There's a very clear link to feminism in a cat. So
Okay.
generally, as a
Okay.
society, we have always seen dogs as masculine and cats as
Masculine,
feminine,
cats are feminine. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and that's the difference. Um, so when you're looking at people that have these disorders and things, obviously it's in a scale, but you just you if you look at people who do anything in the world, so if you look at people like, over here we would have people in like, paramilitaries and stuff like that.
Mm.
But if you look at someone, and sure, like gangs over there and things, people who
Yeah.
say inflict punishment beatings. Here,
Yeah.
do you know what? Actually, scrap that. Let's go into something a bit more makes a bit more sense. Look at combat sports.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you are physically and mentally able to step into a ring and know for a fact that for the next 12 rounds, you could take several big punches to the face,
Hmm.
and you're like, yeah, no, I'm good with this. You have to be higher up in the scale.
Granted, but then there is a financial gain at the end of the day,
There
isn't
is
there?
a financial gain, but like, and I know people will say things like, oh, give me £1 million, I'll step into the ring with Mike Tyson. But like, would you really? Because I
Oh,
don't
I
know if
swear, hands
I genuinely
hands
don't
down
know.
now, give me £1 million, I'll step in the ring with any single person in the entire world.
So like, I don't know. I think realistically, like if someone said to me, right, you stand in front of me, right, I'll give you £1,000 if you let me
Mm.
punch you as hard as I can, square in the face. Mm. So that's what I mean. So like, I think you have to have a level. You have to be up a certain level in psychopathy to be willing to take the hits, especially with the risk that
Mm.
right you might die. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess, but I think again the financials do outweigh it a little bit because there's like with psychos and that, there's actually no reward. Like they get the feeling of a reward, but there is actually no, they don't gain anything from it.
Well, self gratification, which
Yeah,
is
but you
essentially the
can
same thing.
find
Because
that
when
in
you
other
look,
places, can't you?
I know, but if you look right, so say I'm a pro boxer and I go into a
Yeah.
fight with
Sorry.
uh Tyson Fury and
Good
it
luck.
gains me say £2 million, right? I
Easy.
have that fight, I get the £2 million. Why for the life of me would I then go back and fight David Hay or Mike
Because
Tyson or
greed.
see, I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't think that's
And for the love of the game. If like if you don't if you've like you're using Tyson Fury as an example, yeah. If you've grown up and everything has just been boxing and he knows nothing else but boxing, of course you're gonna go back and do it.
okay. Well,
And
let's
then
let's
you look how successful you've been and the feeling you got from, say, winning that last fight. Why wouldn't it's like a drug, isn't it? The euphoria of winning, you want to get it again and again and again and again
but
and again.
you're proving my point because it's the self gratification is the main part. Let's strip it
Yeah, true.
back, right? Let's strip it back. Let's forget about the pro boxers. These pro boxers started when?
Yeah. Like
When did they start boxing?
when they were kids.
When they were like 9 or 10?
Probably younger, yeah.
Yeah. So think back to when you're 9 or 10.
Hmm.
You're gonna want to get punched in the face constantly. I think when you take away, right? So take away the financial part of it, right? These people
Yeah.
don't go into pro boxing at that financial.
No, not at all.
They
But
start
there's
off
always
at
that
a very low
hope to get
level.
to that level, innit?
So do you know what was very telling? Actually, before the Chris Eubank Jr. fight with Conor Ben,
Hmm.
Chris Eubank Jr. done a wee bit of a thing talking about how when he was younger and he, went to America to fight for a while and he ended up getting involved with the wrong people and he became a bit of an enforcer, sort of giving people punishment beatings or whatever and all this here.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's going beyond the sport.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And when you strip it back to that far, you have to think to yourself, a child who is willing to step into a gym or a ring with someone else and take punches, but also inflict them on other people for purely for self gratification because there is no
Yeah.
financial at that point.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think, and again, that's exactly what I mean. No, that doesn't make you a bad person.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But
But
what I
also I
mean is,
think like in
it's a
that way you
scale.
might know that you're on that level and you've channeled it into a better avenue than just going out and becoming a serial killer. Like
Yeah,
Chris Eubank could have just channeled it straight into the levels of being a career criminal and killing people and hurting people, and his dad would have gone, Chris, my son, what are you doing?
everyone
I
has
am the
choices.
sheriff of this town. This is stupendous. And like, I just had to get that in there. I had to go all the way around the houses just to get my impression
Flip
of
circle.
Chris.
Um, yeah, no, you're exactly right. There's choices to be made in everyone's life, and them guys who, that's exactly what I'm saying. They fall higher in the psychopathy scale, but
Yeah.
they have used that and their ability to fight to channel it into something
Mm,
rather than go. And and Chris Eubank Jr. talked about how he got involved with the wrong people and sort of went off the path and you
yeah.
know became this horrible person. So it's so easy to do it.
No,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
100%. It is. Of course it is. We can all
Um,
get trapped up in the wrong situation at the wrong time and just choose a
but I think
bad lifestyle.
that applies to everyone in their life. You have a
Yeah,
choice to make.
of
I was
course.
chatting to my sister recently as well about like sort of like our past and things like that. 'Cause she listened to our last episode,
Hmm.
and and she was saying as well, like you make choices. Like it would have been very easy for me or her, based on our childhood trauma, to go down the stereotypical path of a child in care,
Yeah.
became addicted to dear knows what, and got involved with
And also
this.
carry on that cycle that you were born into
Yeah,
because that's what you
exactly.
think is right.
But you have a choice. Everyone has a choice to make. And you do not need to fall into the stereotypical sort of, well, this is what my life is telling me I have to do, because actually,
No.
I can dictate my own life. I can dictate my
You can
own
break the
path.
mold for sure. You can
Do you know
break
what
the
I mean?
mold. Yeah.
Um,
And in a positive way. Always just look for the positive way because no matter, like, I know we're not really talking about what we was planning to talk about now, but no matter what your situation is, you can just better it by being positive, I think,
Yeah.
personally.
I think when it'd be very easy for someone who say they do lack that ability to empathize with people and they sort of fall into that, well, like this is the way I am.
Mm.
So this is the way society expects me to be. So, and it works the same with mental health in the sense of like depression and all. People
Yeah,
go, well, this is just who I am, and this is how society expects me to be. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Well, actually, no, it doesn't need to be like that. Do you know what I mean? Which is
yeah,
why
you
we
do
sort of
have a
talked
choice at
about.
the end of the day.
That's why we talked about in the last episode about like the importance of sharing with other people, talking to other people about your stories.
100%.
Do you know, I sent you a message. I'll finish up on this and we can wrap up. But I sent you a
Sweet.
message earlier today because a fella that I used to know very briefly, that not like really close to him or anything, but I would went along to a couple of organizations and things with him down in the church, and he was from
Hmm.
the area, and he's just started a podcast. But basically, it's about his life and about, and I would encourage anyone to go and listen to it rather than just take my word for it. It's called The Gospel Guy. But really, we 8 minute video he put up of just talking about how like he made some really bad choices and got involved with people who were actually going to hurt him because he owed them money and things like that, and
Yeah.
um went into spiraling with like addictions and gambling and stuff, and essentially came to a point where he
Mhm.
was like, I'm just going to go and end up now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he literally went to a bridge. Hmm. To end up. um and then he said, he in that moment, he sort of in his head he heard something being like, right, stop what you're doing and go to such and such's house.
Mm.
A friend that he hadn't spoken to in 3 years, and he went and spoke to them, and basically from that, just to summarize, from that event, he realized that he had a choice to make there.
Yeah. There is
He could
always a
actually
choice.
break the cycle. And I think that's kind of what we're trying to push to people through all of our episodes, is that you have a
100%.
choice. Share your story, talk to people, and use the community around you to sort of build you up. And that's
Yeah.
why in the website we've
Just
put
spread
that part in.
positivity.
Yeah.
Spread the positivity.
And that's why in the website we've put that part in, to be
Always.
like just the ability to people to share maybe a bit of their story, and
Yeah.
and hopefully that takes off, and it does do that. But
I'd love it to.
um
I'll be happy to sit and reply to all of you
and like I
listeners at
love how
home.
after last week's episode, you brought this up earlier off camera, but about how we said we were going to do something a bit more lighthearted
Yeah, I know.
and stuff.
We've not done
And
anything light-hearted
it's
in this episode at all,
it's
except
turned
from
into a learning session with the two of us.
Dr. Tricks, psychology expert Dr. Tricks,
Absolutely not.
and his co-host today, Chris Eubank.
Um, okay, so quickly just to end on then. So I just want to touch on potentially next week. So next week's episode, we are planning to bring on a guest. So
Confirmed. Okay to do it next week.
hmm? What?
Confirmed. Okay to do it next week.
Um, we will I will get confirmation, but at the moment, I
I
believe
was
that
gonna say I don't want you to say, "Oh, we're gonna do this next
no,
week,"
no,
and
no. So
then he'd
well,
be like, "I can't
no.
make it
So
next week," and then
the
we're just fucking.
plan
You can
is
cut this bit
to
out though.
the plan is no, I'm not keeping that in. That was good. I don't know what happened there. You had some sort of
Fuck off.
seizure. No, 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 no. Um, no. So, the plan is to potentially have on a guest. So one of our
Yeah.
loyal listeners, who has shared a bit of a story with us. He's been really involved in some of the episodes, and we'd sort of had the idea of getting him on and just having a good chat about
Yeah.
our
It's got some
lives.
cool stories to share, I think.
He's got some cool stories. We'll have a bit of a laugh. It'll probably be a bit more lighthearted. Some maybe serious tones in it, but
Hmm.
I think beneficial to everyone.
Yeah,
So that
100%.
is the plan for next week. So please book it in your diaries.
Also, just head over to the website.
head over to the website, please. We need people to tell us what, like, we have wung. Is that the right word? Wung,
Wang. Yeah.
wang.
Wang.
Well, we're going. We'll make culture inappropriate now.
Yeah.
Um,
I
we
was gonna
we have
say.
completely um made up how to do a website, and we have no idea whether it's good, bad, ugly. You know, so
It
if
needs to.
people could go on to it, have a look at it, actually join it as well, because see, when you
Yeah.
join it, we are able to communicate with you.
Also, we get a little notification, and that's exciting.
But we're able to sort of then, once you join the website, you become part of the sidebar family on it, and it means then we can invite you into different conversations, stuff like
Yeah.
that. And hopefully from it we can get some more guests in the future, etc.,
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then
etc.
potentially, like, if you're an expert in anything, or like
Yeah. Or
very
even if there's just
knowledgeable
something
on
you want
anything,
us two idiots to talk about, you'd be
yeah,
like,
just
yeah,
get
do
at
this
us.
as a topic.
Love
Um,
it.
so yeah, that is the plan for next week. So stay tuned for that and go check out the website. But for now, it is
Bon voyage.
time to lock up and
Play Call of Duty.
load out. Yeah.
Look up and load it. Get to the hard point, you.
You silly sausages.
Yeah, that's it. You silly sausages. Get to the hard point. I love you all. Thank you all for listening.
Yes,
Peace.
if you've listened this far, well done, and we'll see you next week.